Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and then there are the few who make it happen. That single difference is what separates dreamers from doers. That is the line between mediocrity and greatness. And here's the harsh truth most people don't want to hear. Nothing happens until something moves. You can sit there scrolling through motivational videos, reading books, planning, daydreaming, but if you never act, your life will stay the same. Wishing does not build empires. Hoping does not transform your body. Wanting does not create wealth. Action does. Only action. And the action you take when you least feel like it is the action that changes everything. Comfort is a trap. Life is suffering. Whether you like it or not, you either suffer the pain of discipline or you suffer the pain of regret. There's no escaping suffering. You're going to hurt either way. You can hurt by waking up at 5 a.m., hitting the gym, grinding on your goals when you're tired, when you'd rather be watching Netflix, when your friends are out partying. Or you can hurt by looking in the mirror a year from now, realizing you wasted another 365 days, that nothing has changed, that your dreams are slipping further away. Both paths are hard, but only one leads somewhere. And the problem is, most people want the rewards without the struggle. They want the body, but not the workout. They want the money, but not the grind. They want the dream, but not the sacrifice. And that's why they lose. Your mind versus your feelings. Think about the worst decisions you've made in your life. Chances are they were made based on emotion, not logic. Feelings pull you into weakness. Your feelings tell you to stay in bed. Your feelings tell you to hit snooze, to take it easy, to put it off until tomorrow. But your mind knows the truth. Your mind knows that comfort is killing you. Your mind knows that if you don't act, nothing changes. That's why the greats, the Chandler, God, the champions, the innovators, the leaders, don't rely on feelings. They rely on discipline. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. Discipline is standing up when you'd rather sit down. Discipline is saying yes to your future and no to your excuses. The world was built by the tired, not the motivated. Here's another truth. Nobody who ever built something great was motivated all the time. In fact, most of the greatness you admire today, the skyscrapers, the businesses, the championships, the art, the technology you use every single day, was created by people who were tired, unmotivated, exhausted. They didn't feel like it, but they did it anyway. The world is shaped not by those who wait for inspiration, but by those who move without it. So stop expecting to feel good about the work. Stop expecting to be motivated. Motivation is a spark. It burns out. Discipline is the engine. And the engine is what keeps you moving when the spark is gone. Not the cost of success. You want what others have, the freedom, the wealth, the influence, the respect. But do you want to pay what they paid? Because nothing great is free. Success costs blood, sweat, tears, years of your life. When you see the entrepreneur driving the sports car, you don't see the nights they went home at 2 a.m. while everyone else was asleep. When you see the athlete holding the trophy, you don't see the early mornings, the pain, the broken bones, the doubt. When you see the leader at the top, you don't see the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the failures. You want their success? Then you better be ready to suffer their suffering. Posing your will, at the end of the day, it comes down to this. You must impose your will on your life. You cannot negotiate with your feelings. When that alarm clock goes off, when it's raining outside, when it's freezing cold, when every cell in your body is begging you to stay comfortable, that's when champions are made. Imagine an office building late at night. 15 floors tall, every office dark. Everyone's gone home. Except for one light, one single office still shining. Who do you think will rise? Who do you think will win? That's the mindset you need. The mindset of the one who refuses to quit when everyone else has left. The mindset of the one who works when no one is watching. Focus on the reward, not the sacrifice. It's easy to get lost in the pain of the grind. To think about what you're giving up. The parties, the rest, the comfort. But champions don't think about what they're losing. They think about what they're gaining. When you're tired, remember your child's future. Remember the home you want to build for your family. Remember the freedom of never having to check your bank account again. Tie your feelings not to the struggle, but to the reward. And suddenly, the pain becomes purpose. No hacks, no shortcuts. Here's the last truth for part 1. There are no hacks, no quick fixes. No 997th course that will save you. No app, no AI, no secret formula. The only formula is this: do the work over and over and over again until discipline becomes identity, until consistency becomes character, until you are unstoppable. Because once you build yourself into that kind of weapon, a person who executes no matter how they feel, you become untouchable. How do you stop someone who never quits? You can't. That's the harsh truth about success. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel motivated. But if you want it badly enough, you must force yourself to do it. This is where success begins. Not with feelings, not with wishes, not with luck, with action. Relentless action. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. That's the difference between the person who dreams and the person who achieves. See, motivation is like the weather. Some days it's sunny and you feel unstoppable. Other days it's stormy and you can't get yourself out of bed. If you build your life on motivation, your progress will be inconsistent, unstable, unreliable. But discipline is not about how you feel. Discipline is about what you do, no matter how you feel. And that is why discipline beats motivation every single time. Discipline creates clarity. When you live with discipline, you live with direction. You're not just drifting. You're not just reacting to life. You have a plan. Successful people don't wake up and see how they feel. They wake up with a target. They know exactly what needs to be done. They create goals so clear, so specific that there's no room for confusion. Think about it. If you don't know where you're going, how can you ever arrive? Discipline forces you to define your destination, to set goals that are smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. And once those goals are set, discipline demands that you pursue them until they're achieved. Your persistence overcomes resistance. Every great achievement in human history was built on persistence. The discipline to keep going when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when it feels like nothing is changing. That's where most people quit. They get excited in the beginning, but when results take longer than expected, they give up. Discipline says keep going anyway, day after day, step after step. When you choose persistence over comfort, you are training yourself to become stronger than your excuses. Discipline means self-control. At its core, discipline is the ability to control yourself, to resist the temptations that steal your future. The temptation to scroll instead of study, the temptation to sleep in instead of work, the temptation to take the shortcut instead of building the skill. Every time you say no to temptation, you're saying yes to your destiny. And that choice made consistently rewires your brain. You're no longer controlled by impulses. You control you. Eliminate distractions. Protect your focus. We live in a world built to distract you. Your phone buzzes. Your social media pings. Entertainment is always one click away. And here's the truth. If you can't control your attention, you can't control your life. Discipline means creating an environment where focus becomes natural. Turning off notifications. Shutting down distractions. Choosing to guard your time like it's the most valuable resource you own. Because it is. Remember, every minute wasted on distraction is a minute stolen from your dream. Discipline is built through repetition. No one is born disciplined. It's not a talent. It's not a gift. It's a skill forged in repetition. Every time you choose discipline, you reinforce it. Like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. Wake up early one day, that's discipline. Do it for a month, that's habit. Do it for a year, that's identity. The same is true for workouts, for studying, for saving money, for building your business. Repetition transforms struggle into second nature. Discipline turns pain into power. Discipline hurts. Waking up early hurts. Studying when your friends are out hurts. Working long hours when you're tired hurts. But here's the secret. That pain is the price of progress. The discomfort you feel in discipline is the same discomfort that carves out a stronger, sharper, tougher version of you. Pain is temporary. Regret is permanent. Discipline converts pain into power, into growth, into results that last a lifetime. The American example. Think about the stories that inspire us most in this country. The immigrant who came with nothing and built an empire. The athlete who rose from poverty to the Hall of Fame. The entrepreneur who risked everything to start a company in their garage. Do you think they felt motivated every day? Of course not. But they were disciplined. They said no to excuses, no to comfort, no to quitting. And because of that, they rewrote their future. That's the American dream. Not luck, not chance, but discipline in action. Discipline. Real freedom. It sounds like a paradox, but it's true. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have. When you're disciplined with your money, you're free from debt. When you're disciplined with your health, you're free from disease. When you're disciplined with your time, you're free to live the life you want. Discipline doesn't trap you, and it liberates you. It gives you options, opportunities, and the ability to live life on your own terms. Discipline earns respect. People trust the disciplined. They rely on the disciplined. They admire the disciplined. Nobody gives responsibility to the lazy, the inconsistent, the unreliable. But when you prove you can control yourself, when you show up every single day, when you deliver, people notice, and doors open, opportunities come, respect is earned. Discipline is not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become. The bottom line, motivation might get you started, but only discipline will finish the job. Discipline is the difference between the dreamers who quit and the doers who win. So if you want success, real, lasting success, don't chase motivation. Build discipline. Because discipline will carry you through the storms. It will keep you moving when motivation dies. It will transform your actions into habits, your habits into character, and your character into destiny. That is the power of discipline. It is not glamorous, it is not easy, but it is the foundation of greatness. Without it, you have nothing. With it, you have everything. We've talked about the harsh truth of success. We've talked about the power of discipline. Now it's time for the final step, how to build unstoppable willpower. Because at the end of the day, success belongs to the ones who can't be broken, the ones who keep showing up no matter what, the ones who transform discipline into identity. So how do you become that person? How do you build the kind of willpower that makes you unstoppable? Let's break it down into 7 principles, 7 strategies you can use to rewire your life, to transform your habits, and to unleash the strongest version of yourself. Find your why. Willpower without purpose is weak. You can't just push yourself forever without a reason. Your why is the fuel behind your discipline. It's the reason you get up when you're tired. It's the reason you keep fighting when you want to quit. Maybe your why is your family, giving your kids a future better than the one you had. Maybe your why is freedom, never having to answer to a boss again. Maybe your why is legacy, leaving something behind that matters. Whatever it is, you need to define it, write it down, make it crystal clear. Because when your why is strong enough, your how becomes possible. Verse 32, eliminate temptations. The environment you live in shapes your actions more than you realize. You can't expect to build discipline in an environment full of distractions and temptations. If your phone keeps pulling you away from your work, turn it off. If junk food keeps pulling you away from your health goals, throw it out. If negative people keep pulling you down, cut them off. Discipline is easier when you don't have to fight constant battles against temptation. Remove the battlefield and you remove the war. 3. Set goals, challenges, and deadlines. A vague dream will never light a fire under you, but a challenge, a deadline, that's different. Human beings rise to challenges. We thrive under pressure. That's why athletes break records in competition. That's why entrepreneurs innovate when they're running out of money. So don't just set goals, set challenges. Give yourself deadlines that scare you a little. Push yourself into situations where failure is not an option. Because when you raise the stakes, you raise your performance. Find accountability. Discipline grows stronger when someone's watching. That's why fitness partners work. That's why masterminds succeed. That's why soldiers fight harder for the person next to them. When you know someone is counting on you, when you know someone will see if you quit, it adds pressure. And that pressure can be the difference between giving up and pushing through. So find someone to hold you accountable. A friend, a mentor, a coach, or even your online community. Let them see your journey. Let them watch you rise. 5. Start small, build momentum. Too many people fail because they try to change everything at once. They overhaul their diet, their sleep, their work habits, and within a week they burn out. The truth? Willpower grows like a muscle. You don't start by lifting 300 pounds. You start with 10, and over time, you build strength. So start with something small. Wake up 15 minutes earlier, read 10 pages a day, do 10 push-ups. Stick to it, then build on it. Small wins create momentum. Momentum creates belief. And belief creates transformation. 6. Create habits and rituals. Habits are the backbone of discipline. When something becomes habit, it no longer requires willpower. It becomes automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't feel motivated to do it, you just do it. That's the power of habit. So turn your goals into rituals. Set specific times. Set specific actions. Link them to your daily routines. For example, meditate right after you brush your teeth. Write your goals before you check your phone. Go to the gym immediately after work. The more consistent the ritual, the faster it becomes identity. And once it's identity, you don't need motivation anymore. It's just who you are. 7. Prioritize the big rocks. Life is full of noise. Small tasks, endless emails, constant demands. But not all tasks are equal. Some move the needle, some don't. If you spend all day on the small stuff, you'll never make progress on the big stuff. That's why you must prioritize your big rocks first, the tasks that truly matter. Every morning, ask yourself, what's the one thing I could do today that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Then do that first. Discipline is not just about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. Bis na choice ordinary den ocean or start. The transformation. When you apply these principles, something incredible happens. You stop being controlled by your feelings. You stop being trapped by distractions. You stop being held back by excuses. Instead, you start to feel unstoppable. You start to see progress. You start to become the kind of person who doesn't just chase success, you attract it. Because success doesn't belong to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most disciplined, the ones who refuse to quit. The final call. So here's the truth. If you want success, stop negotiating with your feelings. Stop waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There is only now. Every day you wait is another day lost. Every excuse you make is another opportunity wasted. The future belongs to the disciplined. The future belongs to the relentless. The future belongs to the ones who force themselves to rise when the world sleeps, who grind when no one is watching, who refuse to quit when everyone else has given up. Be that person. Build that willpower. And nothing will stop you. This is how you build unstoppable willpower. This is how you create the kind of discipline that doesn't just change your habits, it changes your destiny.